Thank you for joining us today, everyone. Paul Baez, as we mentioned, I lead corporate development, business development, mainly partnerships over here at Kensho. And today we're here to talk to you about the mobile opportunity with Apple Search Ads. But first, let's get personal. At home, we've developed a system where my wife handles meals during the weekdays, and I handle them during the weekend. That also includes breakfast, so it's fair. Unless I cheat and take us out to breakfast, which I do a lot. But it's a system that we developed, and one of the key things I've learned about being responsible for meals on the weekends is that it's tough to get your kids to come to the dinner table. So what I have to do is I end up yelling across the house. So by the time I do get them to the house or to the table, by then I'm either hoarse or the dinner's cold. So I've come up with a new tactic to be able to get this thing to work. And I guarantee you, if you try this, this will work, guys. So next time, instead of calling around the house, go ahead and take a picture, little Snapchat, Instagram, and send it to them. What used to take about 20 minutes, will take about 5 minutes. I think that translates to like a 400% increase in ROI. So give it a shot. My point here is that people want to engage differently now. We're trained to engage differently, and you have to find out how to engage the way people want to engage. So we all know that mobile's big, so why are we talking about mobile? Mobile's huge, but when you dig in, what we find is that mobile is really about apps. According to eMarketer, about 95% of all time spent is actually on apps. That's crazy. And it's actually nearly doubled over the last 3 years. So again, when you're thinking about mobile, it's all about apps. Now, we're also seeing some really innovative examples of where we get a chance at Kensho to work across thousands of advertisers, across dozens of verticals. So we get a view that most others don't have. And what we see are some innovative ways that app companies and traditional brands are starting to really think about driving deeper engagement. So let's share with you a couple of these guys. First, Domino's Pizza, a long-standing brand that we all come to know and love. Customers' behaviors, again, continue to shift online. We have to adapt to those. At my house, we always have pizza on Fridays. And the minute I order the pizza, guaranteed I'm getting pinged every 5 minutes. Is the pizza here yet? Is the pizza here yet? So it feels like we've all become those kids in the back seat asking, are we there yet? Are we there yet? We're just afraid of getting bored. So when it comes to ordering the pizza, I go ahead, come on. Take Domino's Pizza app. So what used to be an old way to engage, I would call up on the phone, order a pizza, and that was it. They would show up at my house, one engagement. But now, with this app, it's a good example of where the engagement, the true engagement, starts after you make the order. So as soon as we make the order, my family and whoever we have over for dinner that night, friends, my wife, they're checking my phone every 5 minutes. Is the pizza here yet? Is the pizza here yet? And in the meantime, they're going ahead and getting all the alerts. Hey, the pizza's in the oven. The pizza's actually coming out of the oven. The pizza's on its way to delivery. And in the meantime, my family's getting in there, ordering breadsticks. They're going ahead and taking advantage of all the cross-sells. They're getting soda and dessert. Before you know it, by the time the actual pizza arrives, that initial one engagement of calling on the phone, now 25 plus engagements. So again, a great way to be able to start engaging with your brands in ways that we haven't seen before. Another one is Peapod, a grocery and delivery service. You can create and share shopping lists. You can actually shop with people online, share the list back and forth. From the time you actually make your order, a personal shopper appears, not magically, they're in the app, but they're going out and engaging with you throughout their entire time at the grocery store, getting all the food for you, telling you, hey, this product doesn't exist, or it's not available, or there's a good replacement here, or there's a really good sale on this thing over here. So, and then all of a sudden they show up at your doorstep. Now, my son moved away from college a couple years ago, and I think I talk to him more through this app than I do on the phone. So definitely engaging way, a creative and engaging way that people have seen to engage with consumers. Now, these types of mobile experiences, as we mentioned, are just driving unprecedented level of engagements. A lot of companies used to think about mobile apps as an extension of their business, but there's an opportunity to really think about how you engage with consumers in a way that you haven't before. So the key question I'm sure you're starting to ask is, how does this fit into advertising? How are we getting into helping me better leverage my app to engage with consumers? Well, let's look at a couple stats here. The first, from eMarketer again, when it comes to finding apps over 59% of consumers actually go directly to the App Store to go ahead and find their app. And that's fine, but when you get to the App Store, you got 2 million or so apps to go ahead and compete for your attention. How do you make sure that your app is front and center? And this is where mobile app promotion comes into play. Another stat, according to a mobile analytics firm, Tune, also a Kenshoo partner, they found that when you actually combine a paid app promotion with your organic activities, you can increase downloads by over 148%. That's powerful, the combination of the two. So we launched Apple Search Ads back in Q4. And as you can see from the graph, usually in Q4 we see that normal spike. We see a big uptick around holiday season, but normally we'd see it go down the following quarter in Q1. But we're seeing the opposite. Going from Q4 to Q1, we see a 20% quarter-over-quarter increase. Unexpected, but clearly we didn't expect to see this much demand from our clients, but it's been a pleasant surprise. Now, we already supported Google's Universal App campaigns, Facebook and Instagram, Facebook's mobile app install ads, but now we also support Apple Search Ads. So in order to capitalize on the opportunity, we formed a strategic partnership with Apple Search Ads to make sure that we were capitalizing the opportunity to bring this to our clients. Now, again, none of us predicted it would be this significant as far as the demand, but you can already see some of the engaging ad types here with visuals, carousel types, very engaging. Now, when you look deeper, let's take a look at Apple Search Ads in greater detail. You really got two support models. One is advanced, and this is more for the sophisticated marketer who wants a lot more flexibility, unlimited budgets, versus more of the basic, which could be for someone who is a smaller app developer who's just looking for more automation and simplicity, kind of like AdWords Express. But these are the two primary models that we see. Now, Apple Search Ads, very similar to Amazon, uses a click-in model. So in order for you to promote your app, it must already be in the App Store. And they've done a great job as far as making it very consistent with how you expect to buy media. Creating new ads that uses all the same metadata that exists on your app in the marketplace, in the App Store. Any changes take roughly 2 hours. The match types are pretty similar to what you get in search, broad, exact, negatives. And then there's search match, something we highly recommend where it actually takes, it's a keyword harvesting tool for going in and creating repeated expansion of your keywords. So if you start with branded, maybe some tail terms, it'll continue to help you expand your campaigns to grow over time. Now, with a 55% market share in the mobile operating system and over $2 billion in ad spend projected by 2020, Apple Search Ads is becoming a primary marketplace for promoting your app. But one of the key differentiators is the fact that it's keyword targeted. So you can very easily take what's working very well for you in search and start bringing some of those tactics forward. So it's very much aligned with intent. So great opportunity. And again, in this example, someone's looking for public ride sharing, and you've got two compares right there, but Uber's getting put front and center because they're promoting their app. So where do we start? Let's go a little deeper. We find that Apple Search Ads is pretty broad as far as who it relates to. We tend to bucket clients into two groups. One are the challengers. These are typically mobile-first companies whose primary business model is their app, like an Uber, like a Lyft. And then you've got the category leaders. These are traditional brands where the app is probably an extension of their business model. They may have brick-and-mortar stores as well, but they may be thinking about it just in terms of transacting versus a way to really engage with brands that we haven't seen before. Yeah, but you'll get a slight quick sneak peek today. So the framework that we have is around pre-launch, launch, and then really trying to scale out that program. So let's start with pre-launch. Now, the first thing is making sure that you're not starting from ground zero. We expect that most mobile marketers are already spending on apps on different platforms, like a Google, like a Snapchat. And so start thinking about the framework, the KPIs that you're looking at, the ways that you measure value, and start bringing it over as a way to get started pretty quickly. Set smart goals. Really start thinking about, are you focusing on net new users or trying to re-engage existing users? Just trying to make sure your model is set. Oops, sorry, wrong way. Research the competition. Make sure you're looking at all the different markets that are available to you. Apple Search Ads is launched in a number of new markets, especially in EMEA and APAC. So making sure that you're not operating as a tourist in those markets. Make sure that you actually know your competition, you know which markets are best for your app. And again, when it comes to localization, again, don't be a tourist. Make sure that your app is localized, you're speaking in the native language to the audience. And then budgets. Starting out, we sometimes recommend that you start slow, and then over time, start increasing your budget once you start getting some good test cadence going. Again, we'll be launching this in the next couple weeks as far as the playbook, but again, something we're proud to have collaborated with Apple on this one. Went to pre-launch. Oh, still going the wrong way. There we go. Over to launch. So, now we already talked about using search campaigns, search match campaigns. Again, it's a great way to harvest new keywords. We recommend you allocate about 25% of your budget on just discovery for always harvesting and identifying new keywords, and then expanding the program over time. We'll have a deeper session, I think it's later on today, to be able to take you deeper on Apple Search. So we're just covering some of this high-level stuff right now. Now, campaigns to launch with. First, Latoff. And this is just users who have decided they want to receive advertisements from you. They're not turning off the ability in the browser and so forth to go ahead and turn off targeting. Also, branding competitor terms. And then finally, generics, to be able to think holistically. So to expand the base, it's all about testing and scaling. So in the last area here, around scaling, once you're actually live, make sure that you're continuing to reevaluate and assess where you're at. Start focusing on looking at your search query term reports and continue expanding your campaign. And then finally, looking at the cross-channel opportunities, making sure that you're thinking and operating holistically and taking advantage of all the ways to bring insights from one channel to the next. So as a recap, pre-launch, make sure you set your expectations accordingly. Look for quick wins, trying to find quick ways to go ahead and get from 0 to 100. And then focusing on finding growth opportunities, especially across channel. So final questions for you marketing leaders. These are questions that we ask our teams. Do you have a strategy to engage app users across all app platforms, especially Apple Search Ads? Do you have a mechanism to see and act for what's working, what's not across various marketplaces? And do you have the right automation and insights to help you scale your Apple Search Ads and others? So when it comes to new channel, this is your opportunity to challenge, disrupt, and to lead in this space. So before we actually wrap up, I wanted to bring up Alan Han, from Chaka Marketing, who's going to share with us some of the insights and experiences they've had working with us on Apple Search Ads. Thank you for coming up stage. Sweet. Couple questions for you.
Yeah.
Very pointed questions. So let's start with getting an introduction. Tell me about yourself and what you do in your company over at Chaka Marketing.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Alan Tan, and I'm a digital media specialist for Chaka Marketing based out of Tampa, Florida. Chaka is a digital media agency, and while our focus for many years was in search, and it's something that we excel in and take pride in, we also do programmatic display as well as social advertising. My role at Chaka is paid search management, but I specialize in mobile app marketing, so specifically universal app campaigns, Apple Search Ads, and mobile web SEM. I've been with Chaka for about 2.5 years now, and since I've joined the team, I've worked on various clients across a lot of industries on the Apple Search Ads space. I've also worked with the Kensho Apps team since the beta of it, so I have a lot of experience there as well.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Well, you've been in the space for a while. You guys must come across a lot of different clients in the mobile space. Can you help us understand, what are some of the big challenges you usually come up against, pushbacks or concerns that you have to deal with with clients as far as really helping them succeed in this space?
Yeah, the biggest challenges we were seeing in the industry was that if you have an app, you want to be showing on as many effective channels as possible, right? And allocating more of that spend towards those effective channels. Google does a good job of covering a lot of these channels with UAC because it can show on search, display, and YouTube. But it wasn't breaking across all of the channels. USD has a really hard time penetrating the iOS market, in my experience, because it's not connected to the App Store like it is the Google Play Store. So there's a lot less inventory here. And we know that the demand is there on iOS devices, especially for brands. So how do we access more of it without Google or Bing? This is where we kind of started getting involved with Apple Search Ads as a viable solution to tap into more of that demand.
Okay, awesome, awesome. That's a great experience. Well, let's bring Kensho into the picture. How have you seen some success leveraging the Kensho platform as we've started supporting Apple Search Ads?
Yeah, like I just mentioned, Apple Search Ads is a vital part in capturing efficient demand where Google and Bing can't. Because Apple Search Ads can only show one ad per search result, and organic and paid results look almost identical, it's super important for you to be there at least on your brand. I kind of like to put this in simpler terms, where if you let that one space go to a competitor and that one space on ASA, it's like opening a new store and having a huge billboard out front of that competitor, right? You're prone to lose some of that business. And then there's looking at things holistically with multiple touch points, like you were saying, where it's a whole different story in that you're creating awareness across all these other channels, and it's translating to demand on iOS devices or Apple Search Ads. Like I said, that's why it's really important for you to be there when you're creating that demand.
Wow, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about day-to-day. So you guys are doing hand-to-hand combat with clients all day long as far as helping them succeed. How has it helped your team as far as workflow efficiencies and just being able to, as I say, get home for dinner in time?
Being able to automatically aggregate your MMP and channel data together with Kensho apps, it's a huge deal for ASA. Before Kensho apps, our team would go on ASA and our MMP. We would pull Excel sheets from there, try to do a bunch of pivot tables and VLOOKUPs and marry that data together. Then we would try to bid off that data, and then finally we can upload something to the channel. I'd estimate on average it took about an hour and a half to 2 hours to bid per client because there's so many campaigns and how Apple Search Ads UI is. But then we started using Kensho apps. It started to take like 10 to 20 minutes to bid per client. And on a larger scale, across 10 to 20 clients, it's a huge impact.
Wow.
Yeah.
So based on that then, given the platform, has it helped you guys be able to think more strategically?
Yeah, definitely. When you start to analyze data and bid more efficiently, you have a lot more time to look at new tests and strategies for ASA, right? So like new users versus repeat users, LAT on versus LAT off, what creative assets are working, what's working in one country and that's not working in another. Are we doing something in display or search that cause an uplift in ASA? All these things that make a good ASA campaign into a great ASA campaign. So Kensho apps, freed up a lot of that time from reporting and bidding to strategy and execution.
Awesome. Great benefit to your clients.
Yeah.
So last question for you.
Yeah.
This is more a bit thinking further out there. Let's look into your crystal ball the next 12 to 18 months. We talked a lot about the opportunity with mobile, specifically mobile apps. What do you expect in the next 12 to 18 months as far as trends, events, things to shape, especially in a world where privacy and everything is changing very rapidly?
Yeah, that's a good question. We know that mobile is constantly increasing its presence in the digital media space, right? And it's not just you or me saying this. The IAB just posted a report 2 weeks ago saying that mobile accounts for 65% of total digital ad revenue. That's huge. So, if you're not thinking about mobile and in particular apps, you're not trying to capture this massive demand. And when there's such a huge demand for something, usually what follows is a surge in innovation. And Chaka and Kensho and all of the companies here have been at the forefront of that. So I'm really excited to see what we can achieve together.
Awesome. I agree. I agree. All right. Well, thank you, Alan, for coming on stage.
Thank you.